Scientists say that the new coronavirus was not man-made. However, the exact origins remain unclear. To get the very latest from the US, we can cross now to our correspondent, Kethevane Gorjestani. Kethevane, firstly, a renewed attack on China. Tell us more about that.
Yes, Trump continuing and hinting again without any evidence that this virus, this coronavirus, originated not in a market in Wuhan, but actually in a lab in Wuhan. Now, what the U.S. intelligence says in its statement this Thursday, two conclusions, two official conclusions. One is that this virus was not man-made, was not genetically modified. The other one is that it did actually originate in Wuhan, but they didn't conclude on whether or not it came out of that lab. It said it didn't rule out the fact that it could have possibly come from the lab, but it couldn't conclude for sure, and that they were continuing the investigation into whether there was a link to that lab in Wuhan or whether that had nothing to do with it. But Donald Trump, of course, has used this to continue his attack on China and to say that China should pay, not only because the virus originated there, but because China was not transparent as to the spread of the virus. Donald Trump says that he is considering all possibilities. One possibility could be to raise more tariffs against Chinese goods. But the problem for Donald Trump with punishing China is that there has to be a balance with China, balance between holding China accountable, which is what a lot of people here, especially the Republicans, want to see, and also keeping the peace with China, which is a critical supplier of medical goods as well as drugs.
Indeed. And of course, Kethevane, it all comes when the economy in the United States is also showing more signs of the serious impact this crisis is having there.
Yes, new numbers for unemployment claims this past week, 3.8 million new jobless claims in the United States, bringing the total number above the 30 million mark in the past 6 weeks since the real shutdown started here in the United States. So the economy here in the U.S. really tanking, and that is something that is worrying Donald Trump a lot, even more than the actual numbers of deaths or coronavirus cases. What he is looking at is the economy. Remember, he has been the president that has touted this strong, historically strong economy in the U.S., and he's now seeing those numbers completely wiped out. And he is being criticized not only for possibly reacting too late and maybe too little, but also for not doing enough, at least on the other hand, not doing enough for the economy. He used to repeat that the cure should not be worse than the disease, and it seems that he's gotten both of them wrong. The answer on public health wrong, as well as the answer on the economy wrong, because right now 30 million is not going to be the end of it. You're going to see more jobless claims in the coming weeks, because these stimulus packages that he has signed that were voted by Congress, those aids, those loans, those grants are taking a lot of time to get to these small businesses. Those paychecks, those $1,200 paychecks that were supposed to go to people in need, those are also taking a long, long time. And Americans, we used to be okay with Donald Trump if the economy was doing well. If the economy tanks, it's going to be much harder for Donald Trump. And the polls are starting to show people turning a little bit on the president.
OK, Kethevane, thanks indeed for that. Kethevane Gorjestani there, our Washington correspondent.